very pleased to have Sumita Mahtab today on the show. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. I've had a busy week working, but it's time to relax for the weekend.
Sumita over here is, of course, a criminal defence barrister as well as a family law barrister, and that entails a lot of work, of course. So can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yes, I specialise in criminal defence and family law.
Yes.
I've been a barrister for over 20 years.
Incredible.
And it's a busy practice. I practice in the Crown Courts for the criminal work and in the family courts, obviously the family practice that I have.
Yes.
So I practice in criminal defence work.
Which one do you enjoy more, criminal defence or family law?
Tough question. I think both, because both are very different areas dealing with different clientele.
Of course, yes.
So with criminal practice, I love jury trials. So there's nothing quite like standing in front of the jury, cross-examining, making a closing speech, and the adrenaline rush that you get from thinking on your feet. But with family law, I enjoy helping people who are at a desperate time in their lives and they are at their most vulnerable. So just trying to assist negotiating with them and trying to resolve coming to a solution, which is what I enjoy practicing family law.
So then, growing up, what made you decide you wanted to go down this route?
So I decided very young. I think I was about 11, 12 years old.
Oh, that's very early. That's very
It's really young. And I think my inspiration came from my grandfather, my nana, who was a lawyer in Bangladesh. So that's my first inspiration. And then I'm quite a determined person. So once I've made my mind up to do something, I'm going to go for it until I achieve what I want to achieve.
What is one thing that you tell yourself constantly when you're faced with hardship?
Don't give up.
Okay.
And persevere.
Persevere.
Even if you fail, get back up and keep trying.
And then talking about perseverance, I understand, of course, you have a platform with your other 4 sisters, alhamdulillah, and it's called the 5 Diamond Mentorship Programme. Can you tell me a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, so this is a mentoring initiative that my sisters and I thought up about 2 years ago. I think we've been running.
Okay.
And what we felt 2 years ago is we had a lot of students contacting us individually, asking for help in their career paths, how to get to university, what a career in medicine or dentistry entailed.
Yes.
So we thought, if we're having all of these students contact us individually, why don't we set up a more formal networking initiative to reach out to all the students who need the help, but who don't have anyone to go to. And so that's what the initiative is. So we are primarily focused to students aged 14 to 18.
Yes.
And we have workshops for those students. So for example, my sisters have dentistry workshops in their surgeries in Manchester. And so they will have the workshops and we'll have about 20 students attending the workshops.
Yes.
It's both practical and advice, theoretical. It's a whole day workshop. And the feedback we've received is very positive. So the students go away thinking they've learned a lot more than when they came in.
Yes, no, of course.
And it's not just limited to 14 to 18-year-olds, whether if, for example, students are at university, mature students, anyone who wants any assistance, guidance, help in any of the career paths that we are in, well, our doors are open. So all they need to do is contact us. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. So just contact us and we will help in any way that we can. And I think our main objective was this, that we're privileged enough to be in the professions which we aspired to be in. And so if we can offer any help to the students coming up behind us who need that helping hand, we're going to give that helping hand to them. So I think it's very similar to we have managed successfully, alhamdulillah, to climb up the ladder.
Yes.
But it's not a matter of pulling the ladder up behind us. It's pulling the people up with us to get to where we are.
No, of course.
And we should be joined by anyone who has that ambition.
Of course, and that being said, let's watch a small clip, a very beautiful clip, of course, where we see all 5 sisters.
criminal barrister, 2 dental surgeons, an accountant and a doctor. These women are also sisters, born and raised in Newcastle, and who now want to inspire and support others interested in careers like theirs.
It's quite emotional because we do see a lot of students struggling out there, and we just think, how can we help other students who weren't as lucky as us?
They've set up 5 Diamonds, a not-for-profit mentoring scheme for 14 to 18-year-olds. There's a particular focus on underrepresented and underprivileged backgrounds.
We will send out emails targeting a variety of different schools and colleges, just to give every student the opportunity to have the resource which we have had growing up.
I feel like when I was at university, several students had parents who were dentists, and that is a stepping stone into it. But I think nowadays, universities especially, they don't pay any attention to if your dad's a dentist and mum's a dentist. They look at you as an individual. What can you sell? Sell yourself to me.
The talks that we give them and what we discuss, you can see how engaged they are, and that passion comes through. And in a way, it makes us more inspired ourselves, really, to help them to get where they want to, and hopefully become that profession, whatever they decide.
The sisters' inspiration is their parents. In Bengali, 5 Diamonds translates to Puncharatna, the nickname given to them by their father.
My daughters, I'm so proud of them, what they have achieved and who they are. Selfless rather than selfish. They may be fortunate, they may be privileged, but there's a lot of other potential and talents around the corner which they haven't had the opportunity. And if they can help a little bit, all along their lives, that will be a charity out, which I always believe.
I love it. Us sisters, we're not just sisters, we're close friends. And we're all married off now, living in different locations, but the fact that there's something we've set up where we'll always be together.
The 5 Diamonds are also mums, so are well versed in multitasking. Their newest venture, a family affair. A venture to support and inspire the next generation of professionals, whatever their background.
And that was such a beautiful clip. We saw the 5 Diamonds in action, of course, and your father, which was really nice to see. Now, with this mentorship program, you have a busy career. You're also doing the program itself. How do you 5 sisters manage to keep in touch and also do this amazing work and find time for yourselves?
With great difficulty. And you can't have it all.
Of course.
No.
Yes.
And so every day something gives and something takes.
Yes.
It's like, I think of it as in when you have 2 scales, the scales are never even. They're never finely balanced. Either you're giving more of your time and energy to your profession,
or of course
more to your family and your children.
Yes.
And so every single day differs. As the scales are never ever balanced, so every day you feel like your time is being squeezed.
No, of course.
But it's a choice that we've made,
yes,
and we're very lucky to even have that choice. And we don't forget just how privileged we are, and how, I'll say it again, alhamdulillah, because it's all thanks to God, the fact that we have the careers that we have,
yes,
and we have the families that we have.
Yes.
And I just want to say, having watched that clip, none of us would be where we are today were it not for our parents, our first role models in life, and all they've done ever since we were children is support and encourage us.
Yeah, of course. I think I remember Baba coming back. Baba, of course, knows Uncle. And
Yes.
Baba once came back and he told me, Baba, I've met the most inspiring family ever. I was like, who, Baba? She was like, no, you need to get in touch with Apple. You'll see what I mean. And I remember thinking, wow, the 5 sisters, like, everyone's doing such an amazing job. They're in their careers and they're taking care of everyone else in their family lives. And then on top of that, this mentorship program is just amazing. Yeah. But that said, of course, you're helping so many students. So how do you then keep in touch with each student in terms of course, it includes a lot of work. So then
Yes.
what what is it that the programme offers?
So if, for example, the workshops, our workshops are the main initiative that we're doing now. So we will advertise the workshops on our social media sites, on our own website.
Yes.
And then my sister, Sumita, is very good in organisation. So she will organise the schedule of the workshops.
Yes.
And so we'll set the workshops up. So that even organising a workshop one day takes a lot of time, energy and effort.
Of course, yes.
Also, in addition to that, for example, I have students emailing me asking for help with writing a CV or help with work experience. Even if they're in a different part of the country, they'll ask, how do I go about getting work experience with a barrister or a solicitor?
Yes,
so I can help them write a letter, tell them who to write to, who to address the letter to, what to write in the letter.
Yes.
They can come to me, shadow me for a day in court.
Of course, that must be really fun.
which will give them, it'll be an eye-opening experience. So we offer all of that. So whatever any student needs, or if they're stuck, if they're not quite sure, is a career in accountancy for me? I'm not quite sure.
Sure, yes.
So that's where we come in and help and assist.
Of course. I understand, obviously, with a lot of schools as well now, they have those mentorship programs, but this one's quite very specific in terms of the areas of the career paths they can go into. So if it's something that, let's say, if I wanted to study math in university, is that something you could then take on?
So this is what we're looking at. At the moment, the mentoring program is obviously focused at law and accountancy, dentistry, medicine.
Right.
What we're looking to do is to expand our network and work with other professionals across the country to partner up with them. And for example, partner up with a mathematician or an engineer or a designer.
Yes.
And so we partner up with them and do workshops tailored to those other different professions. So I think that's where a programme like this with FARIHA helps because we're getting the word out there.
Of course, it's very important.
And so more people know about our organisation, and it's not just about sticking to the professions that we currently practice in.
Yes.
It's about networking with other professionals and bringing more professionals together to join in with our initiative.
Okay, that sounds really good. Now, that being said, of course, is there any success story that you've had recently with the programme itself where you're just like, wow, this student has really...
So we had a dentistry workshop.
Yes.
I think one of our first in Manchester.
Right.
And we had 2 students attend, and they were Syrian refugees.
Wow.
And they were mature students. They were 18, 19, I think, studying for their GCSEs. So they'd lost a few years, obviously, having travelled from here as refugees from Syria. And just to see those young men travel from where they were to Manchester to attend a workshop such as ours was so sobering and so encouraging for us, and it just gave us the motivation to continue, and it inspired us. It was quite emotional, actually.
Of course. And what are they doing at the moment?
I don't know. I think I'd better ask my sisters.
No, it's absolutely fine. I did put you on the spot there, so don't worry. But of course, what are their now future goals, other than, of course, the networking and branching out to other professionals? Yes. Is there any other specific goal that you guys are focused on?
With the mentoring organisation, I think that's our main aim, to branch out to other professionals and across the country. At the moment, we're focused in Newcastle, Manchester and London, which is where we all currently live. But in order to reach, to spread our wings a bit further across the country, so that as many students as possible benefit from our organisation, that's what our focus will be.
Inshallah, I really wish you all the best with this.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, I get to see all the sisters, because I've seen yourself, but I've only ever seen your other sisters on video call or anything else if I've ever needed help. So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, FARIHA.
But before I let you go, I'm going to ask you one last question. If there's anything you could tell your young self, what would that be? I did put you on the spot again, so do think about it.
I think it would be, don't be disheartened because of failure. Just keep trying. And self-belief. Actually, I think self-belief is more important, because when I was younger,
Yes.
I was quite shy at school. I was shy.
couldn't
But I
say
tell
that now.
I tell my children now,
Yes.
when I was younger at school, I was a shy child. But look at me now.
No,
I'm so confident. So just have that self-belief. So I think that's what my advice would be.
I need to follow that advice, inshallah. But thank you so much, Apu, for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. Inshallah, I'll see you soon.
Inshallah soon. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you very much.